Hello, my name is Darshan Patel. I am a urology resident at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, and one of the co-authors on the recently published article entitled Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug use is not associated with erectile dysfunction, data from the Prostate Cancer Prevention Trial. I wanted to take this opportunity to break down some of the tables which are presented in this paper, as well as highlight some of the conclusions. I wanted to thank BJU International for featuring our article as Article of the Week in the upcoming issue, as well as providing this forum to discuss and promote our recent work. Recently, there's been mounting evidence for the role of low-grade inflammation in the development and progression of erectile dysfunction. Naturally, there's been an interest in non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs and their possible therapeutic potential in erectile dysfunction. There have been two prior studies, Gleason et al. And Shiri et al., which have evaluated this association, and they actually found that there was an increased prevalence of erectile dysfunction in NSAID users. This seems contradictory to prior basic science and translational studies, which have shown a positive association between low-grade inflammation and erectile dysfunction. There may be something more at play here, and one of those things to consider is confounding by indications bias. Confounding by indications bias is where underlying indications for medication use, in this case would be indications for NSAID use, may drive an association with another incident disease, which would be erectile dysfunction for our study. This is a common bias seen in pharmacoepidemiologic studies and may play a significant role in the relationship between NSAIDs and ED. Our goal was to better understand the relationship between NSAIDs and ED in our most recent paper entitled NSAID Use is Not Associated with ED Risk, Results from the PCPT. The PCPT, or the Prostate Cancer Prevention Trial, was a randomized placebo-controlled trial which evaluated the use of finasteride for the primary prevention of prostate cancer. And there were several special characteristics of this original dataset which strengthened our analysis, including the large cohort size, robust longitudinal data collection, and the specific emphasis on capturing adverse sexual events. Our overlying hypothesis was that NSAID use is associated with a decreased risk of erectile dysfunction in this dataset. The dataset consisted of approximately 4,700 men within the placebo arm of the Prostate Cancer Prevention Trial without any evidence of erectile dysfunction at baseline. Incident ED in our study was defined as mild or moderate ED, which was evidenced by a decrease in normal function, and severe erectile dysfunction or complete absence of any erectile function. Proportional hazards models were used to estimate covariate adjusted associations of NSAID-related medical conditions and time-dependent NSAID use with ED risk. In Table 2 of our paper, we explored the associations of various medical conditions associated with NSAID use with ED risk. Incident ED was divided by mild to moderate ED and severe ED. And here's a list on the left of various inflammatory and musculoskeletal conditions associated with NSAID use. The main point here was the fact that there was a mild to moderate ED was associated with all of these underlying medical conditions as evidenced here. When we're controlling for age, race, BMI, diabetes, marital status, and smoking status. Looking over at severe ED, we did see also a similar pattern for these select medical conditions, including general musculoskeletal complaints, headaches, and atherosclerotic disease. In Table 3 of our study, we looked at NSAID use and the risk of erectile dysfunction during the PCPT. We stratified by risk of mild to moderate ED and severe erectile dysfunction, and we also compared total NSAID use with aspirin use and non-aspirin NSAID use. In Model 1, where we controlled for age, race, BMI, diabetes, marital status, and smoking status, we did see that there was an increased risk of mild to moderate erectile dysfunction among non-aspirin NSAID users with a hazard ratio of 1.16, as well as severe erectile dysfunction with aspirin users, also with a hazard ratio of 1.16. In Model 2, where we went one step further and tried to control for the various medical indications that were previously presented in Table 2, we found that the significant associations between NSAID use and ED were completely attenuated, and none of these hazards ratios were significant. So the main take-home message here is that NSAID use is not associated with incident erectile dysfunction risk. Confounding by indications bias likely drives the modest associations between NSAIDs and erectile dysfunction, as shown in our study and in prior studies. Thank you very much.